Look, man, I think we all believe that once we become successful, we're leveling up, we're making more money, that at that point, everyone is gonna admire us and respect us. And then who cares what other people think about us, right? Well, it's interesting because I can remember the first time I was truly successful at something in life, which was this YouTube channel. Back in 2018, it caught on. We shot past 100,000 subscribers.
And we have officially reached 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, baby.
Feels right, yeah. You know we say that it feels right.
You probably think I was on top of the world, right? Like I must have felt like a boss. Well, the funny thing I noticed is whenever I'd publish a video, here I pulled up a video from back in that time, how to pick up girls, body language tricks, 425K views, big W, right? Well, as soon as I published it, I'd be anxiously refreshing the comments and I would be scrolling past the good comments like, this channel is extremely underrated. I like this guy. Something about him seems really genuine. Man, you're gold. I would scroll past these. Instead, I would focus on the comments like, the beginning is so cringy. What a shitty video. He probably paid these girls. Hilarious. Two gay guys showing you how to hit on women. That was kind of funny, actually. That was me and the homie Dave in that video. No game at all. Don't do what these guys do. I'd get heated. I'd get upset about these comments. I'd want to reply and say, fuck you, bro. You're wrong about me. Here's why. And that's when I learned a very sad truth about life. I had become successful, yet I still cared about other people's opinions. And that is why it's absolutely critical, no matter where you are right now on your journey, that you prioritize becoming bulletproof to other people's opinion of you. Because if you're early on in your journey, well, that's when it held me back the most. It prevented me from going for the things I wanted in life because I was afraid of being judged. And then even when I became successful, it still messed with me, man. And it prevented me from actually enjoying that success. All right, so look, the first and most important thing you need to understand is that you cannot be liked by everyone. By definition, in order to appeal to certain people and to have them admire you, it's gonna turn other people off and make them dislike you or judge you. Think about Elon Musk, for example. Half of the world thinks that he's a visionary genius. The other half of the world thinks that he's an evil villain. Recently, I made a video about Trump, who I voted for, giving my updated thoughts about what I think he's done well in his first 3 months in office and also the mistakes that he's made. And I knew going into that when I share my political beliefs, certain people are going to agree with me and they're going to resonate with me more once they see that. But other people, again, by definition, the things I say will upset them. They will disagree with it, and it might even alienate them from watching more of my videos. That's fucking life, bro. If you go around trying to make every decision so that everybody still loves you, you're never gonna take any risks. You're never gonna make any real decisions. When it comes to self-improvement, as you start actually leveling up in life, well, guess what? Some of your old friends or followers, they're no longer gonna relate to you anymore, and they're gonna start to dislike you. When you're meeting women, if you're leading as a masculine man, some women who are the more feminist types, they're not gonna be into you anymore. That's gonna turn them off. The key point here, every time you make a big move in your life, expect to lose some of the people who were comfortable with your old self. Now, the second truth you have to realize is that weak men always fear stronger men. Whenever another man criticizes you, usually it is revealing an insecurity of theirs, not a weakness of yours. For example, when you start to financially level up and make more money, you'll notice that certain people always want to emphasize to you, bro, money's not everything. And what they're trying to do, if you think about it, is they're trying to reframe your success as a negative thing. Because if making money is a bad thing, then that means they're doing great, right? I saw this big time in the YouTube comments as my lifestyle started to elevate, seeing comments like, you guys are never satisfied, just wasting money, flexing on us that we don't have it like you. This is becoming annoying. Or, you people need to stop flexing mansions, supercars, and home gyms of tens of thousands because your supplements and YouTube doesn't pay for 5% of a life. So naturally, you're either money laundering or pushing the devil's snow. Like if I'm making money, obviously it means that I'm doing something illegal, right? That's what makes this person, that's the reframe they've made for why they haven't had the success. Because they're a good person. You got to be a bad person to make money. I even get comments all the time about my wife. And this comes from a guy who is married to a complete gold digger. Or Julia changed her beliefs to secure the bag. Now, of course, the OGs watching this channel know that I was dating Julia back when I was dead broke, driving a bicycle around Boston. But these guys are trying to reframe it that it's actually a bad thing I have an attractive girl with me as I've leveled up my life. I wonder why. What do you think that these guys' girlfriends look like? If weaker men are criticizing you, you must realize that this is actually a compliment in disguise. And that's the key point here. The stronger that your frame becomes, the more that weak men will try and break it. That being said, I've realized that sometimes I need to prioritize feedback over my feelings. This is a crucial skill because it's easy just to dismiss all the hate that you get as, it's just insecure guys. But sometimes it is hate that should be ignored. Other times it's actually constructive criticism that needs to be evaluated because maybe I have some blind spots. I definitely have some blind spots. So as a rule of thumb, which I never know why we call it a rule of thumb, but as a rule of thumb, if the feedback is coming from someone who's behind you and who you don't respect, well, it's probably a good thing. Continue, ignore it. But if the feedback is coming from someone I respect or someone who's further ahead of me in some aspect of their life, maybe they're more financially successful than me. Maybe they have more negotiation experience than I do. Maybe they have more experience in a very specific skill that I'm trying to learn. Well, in that case, class is in session. I need to put my feelings to the side and listen the fuck up. So for example, a few years ago, I was about to go into this big negotiation and I was talking to my business consultant beforehand and I told him my plan and he was like, David, can I be real with you? I was like, yeah, what's up? He was like, I think this plan sucks. You're going to be way too aggressive here and it's not likely you're going to get the outcome that you want. And of course, I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear that I had some shitty plan and I wanted to tell him, no, you're wrong, bro. But I had to pause for a second and realize my business consultant, he's a extremely talented negotiator who's very good at controlling people's emotions that he's speaking to in order to get to the right outcome. So I just sit back, swallow my ego and say, all right, well, what do you think I should do? And big props to him because now every single time I have a difficult conversation, whether it's something personal or business related, I use his framework and I always am able to maintain much stronger emotional control of the situation. Or y'all know my good friend Max, fellow YouTuber. One time I was out filming with him and he was like, bro, you are way too anal about your videos. I was like, what are you talking about, man? Shut up. He's like, dude, you literally just got drone shots of this location last week and now you're gonna spend another 20 minutes flying the drone. And I'm like, yeah, because it was sunny that day and now it's partly cloudy and it's gotta be exact. And he was like, yeah, but you do this, you put this intensity on all your shots and it just makes it way less enjoyable to film with you. And at first, even for a few months, I rejected this notion. Then I realized he was right. And since then, I've made a big effort to just be a lot more chill with my vlogs that I'm out filming outside and just letting mistakes go and just, it's made the process a lot more enjoyable. And I think the vlogs have actually came out a lot more natural and authentic as well the last couple of years. The key point here is that the value of the feedback you're receiving is directly proportional to the achievements of the person who's giving it to you. Now, real quick, another critical part of becoming bulletproof as a man is optimizing your physical health. And that means getting jacked, of course, but it also means optimizing your actual health and energy levels so that you have that consistent drive every day to keep pushing yourself to get better. And that's why I want to show you 3 supplements I take as part of my daily routine for peak performance. The first one is creatine HMB from Transparent Labs. Look, we know the most well-researched natural compound that increases strength and muscle mass is creatine, but guess what? The second most proven one to do it naturally is HMB. And when these are taken together, it can lead to 25% more lean muscle gains than creatine alone. Second is sleep and recover. I take this before bed every night and it's led to an immediate improvement in my sleep quality, both my REM sleep and my deep sleep. And this is not just your basic melatonin, it's got L-theanine, magnesium, and a bunch of other critical compounds in there. And number 3, prebiotic greens. I take this every morning to make sure I'm getting key nutrients and fibers in my diet because let's be real, none of us have a perfect diet. And a quick bonus one would be Hydrate. This is an electrolyte formula. It's basically like a healthy, all-natural Gatorade to keep me hydrated throughout the day. These are all from Transparent Labs supplements. They're all naturally sweetened and flavored. No BS in there. First link in description to see all of my daily supplements I take from Transparent Labs. You can use my coupon code to save 10% at checkout. Click that link, level up your supplement routine. And that leads me to probably the most important fact in this video. Self-validation is the only validation you can count on. The unfortunate fact is that humans are weak, fickle, and selfish, and people can turn on you at any moment for reasons that have nothing to do with you and that are completely outside of your control. And that's the mistake most of us make. We rely on getting likes on social media, or having girls be interested in us, or having our friends respect us. We rely on these things to feel validated and to feel like we're enough as a man. And by definition, when you outsource your validation to other people, you have no control over it. For example, when I started this YouTube channel, my two closest friends at the time who I was living with, they both kept cautioning me not to go down this path. And they've actually revealed to me since then that they almost had a full-fledged intervention where they had other people were gonna show up and try and convince me that I was throwing my life away going down the YouTube path, and I should have just stuck with my career. And if you fast forward to now, well, these same guys, I love them to death still, but they ask me for advice now. And thank God I stuck with this path, not even because of this YouTube channel, but because it taught me that we have to make decisions based on things that we think are correct and strong and morally right. Like if I make a bad decision, but I do it because I think it's the right thing to do, well, I'm never gonna regret that. Sure, I might learn a lesson and have to pivot, but if I make a critical decision in my life because I think that other people are gonna think I'm cooler because of it, well, who cares if it even works out good for me, man? Because now I'm not even living my own life. I'm searching for someone else's validation. Whenever you're making a critical decision, evaluate it from the perspective of, what do I think is the right thing to do here? Not which of these decisions is gonna get me more approval from my friends or more likes on social media. And that's the key takeaway here. External validation is rented. Self-validation is owned. And that's also why the freedom of disapproval is a superpower. Because look, man, when you're free from chasing the approval of other people, automatically, without doing anything else, you're gonna start to take bolder, stronger decisions in your life. I recently talked about this in another video, but once I stopped obsessing over the views I was getting so much, I automatically started making more authentic content that I think objectively has been better the last couple years. And even if the views are worse on some pieces of content, the engagement in the comments have been a whole lot stronger. Y'all might remember back in 2021, I rented this expensive office space in downtown Austin, and we were building out our team. And the main reason for that, looking back, is because I kind of thought it was the cool thing to do. I saw Max and Christian doing it in Houston, but once I was in there, I realized, man, this is not a lifestyle that's authentic to me. I haven't worked my ass off the last 10 years to be stuck coming to an office every day. So we reversed that decision. We went back to everyone working remotely from home. And even though I can accept maybe it's not the most optimal thing to make the most millions amount of dollars long term, it's more authentic to the lifestyle that I want to live. And that's a better outcome. If you're willing to be disliked or judged by other people, you immediately have this superpower that most other guys never have, because now you can give yourself permission to make choices. You don't need someone else to give that to you. And by the way, probably the easiest way just to program your mindsets to be correct without overthinking this stuff is to build an inner circle of high standards. You got to find a way to be extremely selective of whose criticism you allow to affect you. And essentially what I've done is I know the 6 or 7 men who, to me, their feedback means something valuable. But if someone who's not one of these 6 or 7 guys says something to me that's a criticism, it's just noise to me, bro. Now, my circle is made up of a combination of family, friends, and business partners. And just because other friends or family members are not part of this inner circle, it doesn't mean I don't have respect for them. It just means that I don't look to them for guidance when I'm facing a tough decision. Opinions are like buttholes, bro, right? Everybody's got one. So you need to be very aware of whose opinions actually mean something to you, because otherwise you're just gonna spend way too much energy and frustration because someone second guesses a decision you want to make. Well, if that person doesn't meet your level of high standards, them judging it, like we talked about earlier in this video, it might actually be a good thing. And when it comes down to selecting who should be in your circle, I'd say there's 3 main qualifications. The first one is achievement. If someone's achieved a lot in their life, it makes sense to respect them. Number 2, people who have values aligned with your own, because then you guys are on the same page about how you evaluate decisions. And number 3, people who have strong character and strong morals, because even if they haven't achieved a lot in their life, you know that they're going to be evaluating any circumstance from the right heart, from the right mindset. The key point here is to be aware that most people's opinions, they don't matter. And finally, the last truth I want to leave you with is that only God can judge us. Whether you're religious or not, I think we can all agree that all humans are sinners. We all have inherent insecurities and weaknesses. As Kanye West, the GOAT, said,
we all self-conscious, that's just the first to admit it.
We always have to keep in mind that anyone who's judging us, that person has insecurities of their own that they're probably projecting onto our situation. We also have to check ourselves and remind ourselves that we are not God either. We're not some almighty power who should be judging other people. We don't know their circumstances, and we might be projecting our own weaknesses onto their situation as well. At the end of the day, the loudest critics of other people are typically the people who are most afraid of being judged themselves. They're trying to keep people's attention off of them. And that is the key takeaway of this entire video. The only thing that matters, the only judgment that matters is whether you're living your life according to your principles and your beliefs. Everything else is just noise. Now, if you're a man who's working hard to level up, then you gotta watch this video next. It's about the 6 stages of self-improvement. It is critical to understand which stage you're at now and what you need to do to reach the next level. Click there to watch that now. If you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe because I drop 2 new videos every single week and you don't wanna miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.